Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The significance of the term Dhammacakka or Chakka for that matter, wheel. That is the wheel symbology. We are discussing the Dhammacakka Bhavattana Sutta. The whole 3 months of rains retreat will consist of this one sutta. On that, in a series, we will be discussing this entire sutta. Now, this sutta contains all the, the major teachings, the core teachings of the Buddha. Whatever the Buddha taught for 45 years thereafter. Now, all those teachings were just extensions. They were elaborations of what the Buddha taught in the Dhammacakka Bhavattana Sutta. So the importance of this sutta can never be overemphasized. It is indeed the very heart of Buddha's teachings. So a clear understanding of these teachings can bring about spiritual transformation in any serious seeker of truth. Now, in the first discourse, we only gave the introduction to this sutta, and in this introduction, we mentioned some of the biographical details of the Buddha, and thereafter, a brief introduction to the various the teachings of Dhammacakka Bhavattana Sutta. But from today onwards, as the series continues, concept by concept, basic ideas, basic philosophical, spiritual and moral teachings, and their importance to day-to-day life for every seeker of enlightenment. So today we will start with the concept of Chakka. Chakka means chakra. Dhammacakka Bhavattana Sutta. The wheel of truth, Dhammacakka, which replaced the Raja Chakra of Ashoka, the great emperor Ashoka, who became the greatest Buddhist emperor ever. Now, you have heard the name of H.G. Wells. He is one of the greatest historians of his time and even of our time in modern days. He wrote 25 volumes of the history of the world, and there, when he was discussing about emperors, he said, the greatest emperor who ever lived on earth was an Indian, not a European, not a ruling race of today. He was an Indian emperor, the Ashoka, who was converted from being a Chanda, Ashoka the fierce, Chanda Ashoka, into Dharma Ashoka, Ashoka the righteous. And he ruled with righteousness, with Dharma, and he transformed his empire in a manner nobody has ever succeeded thereafter. It's a unique achievement of a being, and all through the proper management of life in terms of Dhamma, the teachings of truth, which the Lord Buddha discovered as the final solution to all the problems and difficulties of life. So, today, Dhammacakka, I will give you a historical episode, a story from where the word Chakka, comes, and it's very, very interesting indeed. It's a historical story. A story is always very interesting, as you know, but it will be full of meaning because so much of other teachings will be, you see, it will be a kind of nodal, you see, presentation of the story, where, you see, from a node, leaves and stems, in biology, you see, stems fork out. So from these details of story, you will get wonderful principles and teachings which you can apply in your day-to-day life. So now the site is Kalinga. Kalinga was a very, very prosperous country in the time of the Buddha, I mean the time of Ashoka. The king was contemporary, a very powerful and extremely rich king. He presided over a very powerful kingdom. It is dotted with so many ports, and all the import-export, you see, activities from India flowed in his kingdom. So many ports, and you see, the wealth of the country came through these ports. So now, he was a powerful, his family was known, the royal family. Now Ashoka was a governor of the present Kandahar, what you call Kandahar. His father was on his deathbed. Before that, see, he was a quiet-going king with many wives and many, many sons indeed. And Ashoka, though the youngest, was very competent and powerful and tough militarist. In fact, he was general in the army of his father. And so he was appointed to put down the rebellions and all the difficulties that in the western part of his empire, which Chandragupta, his grandfather, had established. Now Macedonian king Alexander had attacked that part of India, and Chandragupta was capable general, and he was able to, you see, defeat this Macedonian Greek king, very powerful king indeed, Alexander. And the Western people are very proud of him. But they don't know that an Indian king gave a good beating to him, so much so that he had to quit. He couldn't go anymore in the east. He had to stop his eastern invasion. Now, so Ashoka was sent as a governor in this area. This area was known as Gandhara, very famous in Indian literature, in Indian mythology, in all philosophical, religious and other literature. You will have plenty of accounts about Gandhara. Now, Ashoka, with his military abilities, he put down these tough tribals known as Pashtun today. They were known as Paisachi at that time. Pisacha, you have heard the word Pisacha, which simply means evil spirit, a ghost. But that's a metaphor also for describing a very fierce type of human beings. So these tribals were fierce. Even today they are very fierce. And you see this Taliban and whatnot, all the problem we are having today, are these Paisachis only. So however, so he put them down and he built an army with them, you see, with a very good contingent of these tough fighters. He had the ambition of becoming, you see, a Raja Chakravarti, not merely Raja Dhiraja. The empire that his father had built from his grandfather down, Mauryan Empire. It was a powerful empire at that time. It extended right up to Vindhyachala, from Himachala to Vindhyachala. So his ambition was from the Gandhara to Kalinga, that is Ahimachala Samudra, Asamudra Himachala Vindhyachala and Hindu Kush. That was his dream. The huge land mass over which he wanted to preside as a Raja Chakravarti. So he was preparing himself, and he did prepare very well indeed. He built these armies, and quietly nobody knew what his intentions were. So now when his father's in their deathbed, he heard that father was in the deathbed, he took a large contingent of these people with him, and then he divided others into small parties and told them one after the other they should come and establish themselves around the Pataliputra, city of Pataliputra, and around his immediate, Magadha. Magadha, the kingdom of Magadha. And he surrounded also Kalinga. His eye was on Kalinga. That is the richest country, and that led to Samudra, nowhere else, to the sea. So he wanted that he should have a sea entrance and fulfill the idea of an emperor who ruled up to the sea, from the mountain to the sea. So now, and he succeeded. When the father died, after the father's obsequies, all these ceremonies and all that, he believed in, yajna very much. And he had many yajnas conducted, for the success of his expeditions. So now, after everything was quiet, the father's empire, the royal council then announced who will be the next king, the most able of all the brothers. The brothers started, the struggle started, all kinds of politicking and here, there and all. Ashoka succeeded in putting down every one of them. He had put small groups of these Paisachis, the soldiers, the tough fighters. And immediately after the council, announced that it has to be settled, he attacked the houses of all his brothers. He just sent these soldiers into their houses and occupied them and kept them under, house arrest, so to say. And now that is how he claimed to be the best candidate, and he succeeded in becoming the king. And all his brothers were now, many of them died, of course. There was struggle and fight and this, that, all kinds of things. So those details we did not go. So now Ashoka, having become the Rajadhiraja, he then announced that he wants to be a Samrat, an emperor of a great empire which starts from Gandhara to ocean, to the Indian Sea. And so after announcing, he attacked, and there was tough fighting. The king there did not give in. He also fought. The result was he lost his life, lost his army. The entire area was completely devastated, completely destroyed. So Ashoka, having destroyed Kalinga, he was now as a victor in the Kalinga capital. He decided to inspect the result of his war, and for one whole week on the horses, on the back of the horse, he went round all over this city and the country around, and he ordered his contingents to come and take over the entire city. That is how he organized. Then he called a meeting of all the the military and also civilian officials and so on. He called them and decided to make an assessment of the damages. The magnitude of the damage was so great and so devastating. Desolation was so horrible. He lost his mind. He was unable to sleep for a whole week. And he was having a continuous meeting from morning till evening. And that made things even worse. He was unable to think, unable to sleep. Absolutely miserable man. Now, at the end of the week, on the 8th night, he just couldn't sleep, he couldn't do anything, he walked out. When all were asleep around midnight, he just slinked away, walking just, mindless. And he entered into the smashana, a crematorium where all these important, near the palace only, all the princes, the kings and all the others were cremated there, and important people. So these people, he was roaming about because this was a special cremation ground with high big trees and absolutely certain silence. In that night, silent night, only the twinkling of the stars, he could see here and there objects, but they were all still and silent. He moved about, suddenly heard a noise. He said, Devanam piyatis piya, ehi idha upasamo santi idhati. He called this voice, called him by his personal name, his private name. Only his father and mother could call him by that name. When he heard that, suddenly he became very, very annoyed and angry. What? An emperor to be called by name? Who dares to do that? I must behead him. So he opened his sword from the cupboard and he looked around it all over the crematorium, cremation ground, those huge trees and absolute silence. Then after a while again the voice said, Devanam piya idha agachai, ehi idha shanti. Devanam piya, beloved of the gods, come here. There is peace here. There is tranquility here, upasama. No more conflict, no more suffering. There is peace. Come here. So when he heard this, now this was the voice of Nigrodha, the monk Nigrodha, who was an Arahat. And who was Nigrodha? His own nephew, his eldest brother's son, who had become a monk under the most venerable and the great saint Moggaliputta Tissa, who became the guru of Ashoka later on. Now his guru had seen through all these things, and Nigrodha had seen through all these things by his Dhammacakka. He was a powerfully endowed monk, an Arhat, who could see through things with his supernormal powers. And he was seated under a tree, under a vata vriksha. These smashanas have these vatas, and with a Vedic, that is a kind of platform. On it he was sitting, and he ordered, Devanam piya. He called him by his private name, which nobody would dare. Now, when the second time he called him, he got absolutely angry, and all that Chandasoka in him came out with that sword in his hand. Now he pursued. He said he was just, he focused his attention fully, totally on the direction from which the voice came. So now, as the third time the voice came and he went there. There the monk was seated in all his majesty, spiritual majesty. Bright, radiant in appearance, calm, peaceful, and radiating powerful thoughts of universal love, metta, maitri bhavana, universal love. He was projecting powerful thoughts of universal love at him, and he said, Raja Dhiraja, sit down please. And that was a beautiful carpet of grass, and he sat down. And he said, close your eyes, Maharaj, and just be seated. Now, you enjoy peace here. There is peace. Peace that can be felt, not only felt, but that can be touched. Maharaja, close your eyes, focus your attention on your navel, just above the navel, in this area, in your abdomen area. As you breathe in, you will see that it arises, it expands. As you breathe out, it contracts. So this rise and fall movement created by breathing in and breathing out, inhaling and exhaling, just watch it. Maharaj, watch that. Just observe that motion, that movement. You are breathing in and it expands, it rises. You see, as it rises, you just note, rise. As it falls, note, it falls. Keep on doing it, and then he focused his powerful metta, radiated metta vibrations on him, and lo and he was absolutely immersed in peace. He felt completely at peace and completely calm. You see, a kind of peace that overpowered him, and he just slept off. How long he slept, he didn't know. All the, you see, 7 days sleeplessness gone. He was immersed in pure, relaxed calmness and peace. Totally relaxed. Then he again got up. And he felt refreshed, exceedingly refreshed. Then again slept. Then again refreshed. Then he was absolutely jagrata, awake, and watched his the abdomen part and watching anapanasati. He was in fact meditating on anapanasati without knowing. And then when he became exceedingly calm and peaceful, he heard the voice. He said, "Here, Maharaja Dhiraj, you have won. You are the conquistador. You have made the greatest conquests, greatest kingdom, Kalinga. Your empire now extends up to the ocean, up to the sea, Samudra. But there is no peace. You have won. You have gained the greatest gain, but you have lost also at the same time. When there is the Raja Chakra which you are having in your kirita, I can see there is the lion with a sword in his hand. And this lion symbolizes you, the emperor. And with the sword in your hand, you have won this great kingdom You have become a great emperor, but you have also lost everything. The most precious thing, your peace of mind. You can't sleep for 7 days. You are almost without mind. Out of mind you are. Maharaj, they know what the Bhagavan Buddha has taught. This symbol of Raja Chakra that you have got in your kirita, with a lion in between with a sword, that shows power for its own sake. Power not for peace, but power for its own sake. The result, you have lost your mind, your peace, your happiness. So now, with every gain, there is the loss. Labhe alabhe, ayase yasecha, ninda prasangsasu, sukhecha dukkhe. Wherever there is gain, there is also loss. Wherever there is fame, now you have got the greatest fame as an emperor. And you are also, you are at the same time you have gained ill fame. People are abusing you as Chanda Soka, Prachanda Rajadhiraj. That is your name. The great king of misery, creating misery, the fierce king. So, fame goes with ill fame. Gain goes with loss. Ninda prasangsasu. Your generals, your officers, all these big men who are all delighting with, you see, with your gain and with your fame, they are praising you to the sky. Oh, Dhammacakka, Raja Chakravarti, they are said. But there was a Dharma Chakravarti also, the Buddha. He brought Dhammacakka. You are wielding the Raja Chakra, which is nothing but Samsaracakka. Samsaracakka means the wheel of worldly existence. And what is that? It comprises of 8 things. Labhe alabha. As the wheel rotates, half of it goes upwards and the other half at the same time simultaneously goes downwards. So when there is gain, there is also loss. At the same time, when there is fame, there is also ill fame. When there is praise, there is also blame and abuse. Hundreds and thousands of men and women are abusing you every minute of their life, abusing you in the filthiest language. Where there is sukham, happiness, there is also dukkham, misery, suffering. That is life. Wheel of life is wheel of samsaric existence. And that is what you have got. You are a victim of the samsara chakra. Power for its own sake, pleasure for its own sake. And the opposite also follows automatically. So this chakra, samsara chakra, or the wheel of life, it creates contrary situation. It's not complementary to each other. The two sides of the chakra, they are not complementary. They are not harmonious to each other. They are contradictory. You see, they are counteracting. When there is gain, there is so much of joy, happiness and all. When there is loss, there is cry, there is lament, there is misery. That is life. So in this ocean of misery, dukkha, the whole world is immersed. Because why there is dukkha? Now the world is always running after gain, fame, praise, pleasure, pride. These are the things. Money, wealth, without knowing that they are inviting the opposite. When they crave for these things, craving for pleasure, craving for the continuity of existence. Because of the craving, which is the root cause of all suffering, Maharaja, all the suffering that everybody is undergoing here now, including you, the root cause is craving. And Bhagavan Buddha said, when he discovered the ultimate truth, he says, Dukkhan cheva panjapevi, dukkha sacha nirodho. He said, yes, I do teach that there is great suffering in worldly existence. You are born only to die. That is suffering. And once you are born, you are subject to disease. You can't help that. That is suffering. Once you are born, you are aging from the time you are born. You can't help it. That is dukkha, that is suffering. And nobody thinks about this, nobody is aware that as a child is born, the child is aging and child is moving towards death. As you gain a promotion, you get a big job. Nowadays, this economic boom that we are having. So you get a job of 50,000 rupees. The whole family, the society, everybody. Oh, wonderful. Go out to the best hotel and eat up. Gobble up, enjoy, marry. Bhoga. The result of bhoga is dukkha. So everything is life is unsatisfactory because craving is behind there. And craving creates dukkha because it creates I-ness, my-ness. When you want to enjoy, you don't simply say enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. No. I want to enjoy, you say. When you crave, you said, I want this. I, big I. And it is behind this big I that all the suffering lies. You wanted to be Raja Chakravarti, you have become. And here you can't sleep, you can't eat. And you are right in the middle of a smasana. This is dukkha, Maharaj. Wake up. You have deprived all your elder brothers from their legitimate positions. You have deprived the king, very powerful king here. The poor fellow, he died, and his family is there. He is next in line. You have put him under arrest. And all this in the name of power, in the name of position, conqueror, bringing so much of suffering. Not only to everybody, but to yourself. So this chakra, samsara chakra, is full of dukkha. Because simultaneously two opposite factors rotate. Everything in life is characterized by that. Every thinker among you all, my dears, think deeply. Don't be superficial. When you seek things, when you are greedy, when you are after name and fame, when you are egoistic, when you are drowned in your caste system, mania, this is a mania, madness. Now, behind all this there is I-ness, and behind I-ness there is craving, and behind craving there is dukkha. Lord Buddha in his, you see, he was the ocean of compassion. Motivated entirely by compassion, he gave up his kingdom, gave up the most beautiful woman as his wife, the most beautiful little baby child. Everything he gave up in search of the ultimate truth that will show why there is craving, why there is suffering, why should people die. Whole life they struggle to gain and to accumulate and to have this, to have that, and end up in death. As they accumulate, as they gain, as they do all this, they are accumulating karma, intentional, volitional action. Now these intentional actions are potent. They have power, they are power charged activities. Now these potent activities simply are capable of producing potent results. Potency means what? Producing a result. A mango tree has a potency. The potency of producing mango fruits. Year after year after year. Hundreds, thousands. No other tree has that. They have other capabilities. Now this potency of the mango tree creates fruits, and the fruit brings out seed, and the seed again sprouts into a little plant and then a tree, and then again brings fruits. This is the story of life. The hen produces the egg, and the egg produces the hen. This cycle of birth and death, birth invariably brings death, and death invariably brings rebirth. You are catapulted into a new state of existence by the power of all that karmic potency. Whole life you have been committing karma, because you have got this craving and this I-ness and my-ness. I want, it's mine, my property, my wife, my child, my home. I am this, I am that. This my-ness creates karma, moment to moment karma. And all the karmic accumulations, the cumulative effect of all that, at the moment of death, it shows in your mental screen. It comes up in the form of a nimitta. Kamma, nimitta and gati nimitta. You remember all your activities that you have done throughout, like a cinematograph. You see everything. And that again, that brings out memory. Memory is a very powerful instrument of mind. When you commit a bad action, it doesn't end there. You remember it after 10 years, that bad action, and then you keep on sulking and you keep on regretting for what you have done. So at the last moment of your existence, all these karmas, and you relive them, and you are motivated by greed, hatred and delusion to commit a bad karma, motivated by non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion when you do a good karma. So Maharaja, why not you replace your Rajachakra with Dhammacakra? Replace violence with love and compassion. Replace bad karma with good karma. So just as your Samsara Chakra has 4 spokes, 8 spokes. They are known as Loka Dharma, Labhe, Alabhe, gain and loss, fame and ill fame, praise and blame, happiness and misery, pain and pleasure. All these dichotomies of life. These are the spokes of that wheel of samsara, wheel of life. Now turn it, you see, change it, transform it into Dhammacakra, which also has 8 spokes. Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. Right understanding, right thought or thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, mental effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation, meditative concentration. Right. Just as in Samsaracakka, every positive factor has a negative one simultaneously. Here the right also has got a negative one, a wrong one. There is a thing called wrong understanding, Miccha Ditti. Just as there is a right understanding, Samma Ditti, there is also wrong understanding, perverted understanding, misunderstanding. They are powerful mental factors. They are not just negation of understanding, no. They are not absence of right understanding, no. They are positive factors as misunderstanding, wrong understanding, false understanding, perverted understanding. Now in the first sutta, when we in the previous, last week we discussed about Dhammacakka. Prior to that I discussed about Aganya Sutta. There are 2 Brahmin young people went to Pubbarama, that is Visakha Mataji's mansion, where Buddha was staying with 500 monks. And they had become a Samanera, novice monk. They were very anxious to become bhikkhus and to lead a full holy life. They studied Buddha's teachings very well for days and weeks and months, and they gave up their Brahminical traditions. So now, one of them, Vasishta, Vasatta in Pali, he saw Buddha in the evening arising from his meditation, emerging from the meditation and going down the castle and he was walking up and down the shade of the mansion. The mansion was a monastery. So he told his friend, he said, brother, come on, let's go and ask the Bhagavan. Hear some Dhamma. We'll be very lucky. So they went and, worshipped the Bhagavan and then followed the Bhagavan as he was walking up and down, following up his step. Then Bhagavan knew their minds and he knew, how to inspire them and bring, the fruition of spirituality in them. So he says, now my dear, Bharadvaja and Vashishta, now you, both of you come from 2 very famous Brahmin families with gotras which are very well known. And you have become now Buddhist monks, novices. You want to become full-scale bhikkhu. You want to lead a holy life. Don't your other friends and others, though they abuse you and insult you for having done this? He said, Bhagavan not only abuse and insult, they use the filthiest language. Wherever they see us, they abuse. They say, you rascal, you belong to the highest caste, the caste that has been created by Brahma himself. The Brahmins are born out of the mouth of Brahma. The others are born from the other parts of the Brahma's body. The Kshatriya is born from his hand. The Vaishya is born from his thigh. The Shudra is born from his leg. And these monks, Sakya, Vangsha monks, they are all Shudras. They are all born of Brahma's foot. And you have gone and joined them, you have become foot and abused like anything. They say, well, my dear, they don't know their beginnings. That is why they talk like that. This world is changing all the time. And then he gave how the evolution of the world and the human race as such came into being. And how this human race, the evolutionary process, from a very high state, the Deva process, it has come down to the human. As human beings became more and more solidified with solid food, it happened. So now I read out that portion. I don't know whether you remember, some of you, those who have heard, if you recall, is good, but I will bring in elements from the sutta also when we discuss during this Dhammacakka Sutta. So the idea of a creator God creating you is a total, you see, absence of wisdom. Is fully wrong understanding of reality. How can Brahma create you? Who has created him? To begin with. And if he has created you, he certainly has created a very miserable existence. With all these 8 constituents of dukkha in the samsara chakra. So when we discuss all these points, what is right understanding, what is wrong understanding? What is right thought, what is wrong thought? What is right speech, what is right wrong speech? What is right action, what is wrong action? What is right livelihood, what is wrong livelihood? What is right effort, mental effort, and what is the wrong part of it? What is right mindfulness, what is the wrong part of it? What is right mental concentration or meditation, what is the wrong part of it? So both these we'll discuss, and you will see that though they are contrasts, they are not counteractive. Buddha has converted wrong understanding itself, you see. He has given an instrument by which you can easily convert wrong understanding into right understanding. You don't need to fight with somebody saying, all right, you believe in this creator stuff, but you just know this. There can be also other ways of explaining how life has evolved. You say somebody has created, very good, that is your theory. But there can be other theories also. It can evolve from a lower state or a higher state into the opposite. It can happen that way also. So this evolutionary process that changes samsara chakra into dharma chakra, that will be the subject of the next discourse. Today we will leave it at this. There is some difficulty, I suppose, in the machine here. All machines are machines. Therefore, they are full of mistakes. They are not perfect. With this, I conclude. May the blessings of Bhagavan Buddha surround your lives. May you all be happy and well.